Good Erev Shabbos, everybody. This week's Parsha is out of Noach. We have, of course, the incredible deluge that literally destroyed the world, the earth as we know it. Only Noach, his wife, his three sons and their wives, they were the only members of humanity saved. And of course, we had the animals and the birds and insects that were also upon the ark. The Kli Yakar notices something very interesting. We find that in the dimensions of the ark, God says that the ark will be 300 amos in length, 300. It will be 50 amos in width and 30 in height. And he says 50 by 30, we have multiples of 15. 300, multiple of 15. 15 to 50 times 30 is also a multiple of 15. We find that after the 40 days and 40 nights in which the rains fell continuously upon the earth, we find that the water remained on the earth with incredible power and currents, torrent flooding water for 150 days. Again, we find this number 150, a multiple of 15. We also find that when the waters began to recede, well, prior to that, it says that the waters, when they reached their height, covered the highest mountains by 15 amos. 15 amos higher than the highest mountain, over 32,000 feet based upon the height of the mountains that we have today. Again, we find the number 15. What is it about the number 15 that we seem to find it repeated here? The Kli Yakar says that the number 15 in Hebrew is spelled with a yud, which equals 10, and a hey, which equals 5. We also know that the yud with the hey together spells a name of God. We don't pronounce it, we say ka, hallelujah. He says this name is also found in the bandan relationship between husband and wife. The name for a husband, a man, is Ish. The name for a woman is Isha. They both have an aleph and shin, but Ish has a yud, aleph, yud, shin. Woman, Isha, is aleph, shin, hey. We see that the letters yud and hey, these are the letters that help form the very name of man and woman. Interesting. We also find that there were 15 steps that were leading up to the entrance of the temple. As a matter of fact, on each of these steps, the Levium would pause and they would sing and chant what became redacted as the Psalms, known as the Shir HaMa'alos, the 15 Song of Ascents. They would ascend. What is it about 15? 15 is that name of God that is found within the sacred bond and relationship between husband and wife. If that name of God, if the sanctity, the respect, if the fundamental premise of commitment is absent from this relationship between man and woman, then the name of God is removed. What happens when we take the yud away from the word ish? We're left with aleph shin, aish, fire. What happens if we take away the hey from the word isha? We're left with the letters aleph shin, aish, fire. This is the message that God was communicating to Noach, in which he was telling him that, yes, we know there was theft, and we know there was chaos, And we know there was terrible corruption in this generation of the flood. There was idolatry. But the underlying source was the breakdown of the home, family. Specifically, the breakdown between the sacred bond and respect of man and woman, husband and wife. No longer did we have that unique combination in which man and woman, who were created as one entity and then separated, and then through marriage they reunited as one. No longer do we have that, but rather it became more of an act of mating. And if their eyes turned in different directions, there was no shame and there was no restriction and there was no reason for them to maintain their bond on commitment of marriage. The breakdown in the home, the lack of respect, when children are raised and they see that there is no respect and there are no lofty levels of which a person strives for and a person will dedicate themselves towards, but rather they follow their passions. And if today they're interested in this source of pleasure, they follow that. If tomorrow it's a different source of pleasure, then they will chase that. When children see that, there is a total breakdown of all foundations of morality, ethics, and the social fabric to maintain a proper civilization. This is what Hashem was conveying to Noach. Noach, these are the dimensions of the ark. Let it all reflect this Yud and this Hey, the letters of the name of God that are found between man and woman. When they commit to a marriage, they are not just entering into some contractual agreement to live together in matrimony, but it's something which is far loftier than that, something which is absolutely sacred. In Judaism, we refer to marriage as kiddushin, the word kiddush, kaddish, kaddish, kedusha, meaning that which is holy. It is a very, very sacred moment in which God's presence comes and joins the husband and wife. He takes his holy name, the Yud and the Hey, and he places it amongst them. But when that name is missing, we're left with the fires of one's passions, the fire of one's desires. And that's the fire that can lead to a destruction of civilization itself. This was the message that God was conveying to Noach, this new world that we are going to form. Be aware that the basic foundation and the fundamental commitment and principle has to be the respect and reverence of husband to wife, wife to husband. A commitment to understand that our lives are not just the pursuit of one's pleasures, but to build and to create and to bring forth a generation that will recognize its privilege and responsibility in realizing there is a creator to whom we are blessed that we can serve and who shall bestow upon us his blessings. This is achieved when children see respect and they see a reverence and they see a true love between husband and wife. This is why the number 15 is found throughout the dimensions of this new home, the home of the ark. And indeed, the ark itself and the waters and everything were reflecting the need of having the letters Yud and Hey, the name of God, be found amongst man. Today, even in Western civilization, we find the breakdown of basic principles of the home, a lack of respect, a lack of commitment. We find that the parents, this is true in the Middle East, in which we have generations of children who have been indoctrinated with hate, with animosity, with believing that there are human beings who are so evil, when in truth, these are the human beings, the Israelis, the Jews, who are seeking only peace, but they never had a partner in peace. They've offered land for peace. They've given land away. They took land from Jewish settlers, evicting the settlers. And what did we get in return? Oh, maybe a couple of years of calm, but only to find out that this land is being used as a means to wreak havoc and destruction. We have a world today in which facts and truth seem to be immaterial, but rather people would rather live with rage and with anger, because there is no reverence, there is no bond of sacred marriage and commitment, there exists no respect for the truth, but only to fly and to run and to soar after one's passions and one's ideology. To restore truth, to restore reality, to restore sanity, it begins at home. And it begins with a bond between husband and wife, to be on the same page, to introduce children and generations to the existence of God and to the knowledge that there is a world in which we can exist now and a world for our souls for all eternity. Children need to have a proper foundation to understand the ethics and the morals that make our lives meaningful. Hashem is with us, and no matter what transpires, we remember the verse of King David, Hine lo yonun v'lo yishan shemei Yisrael. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither sleeps nor slumbers. Let us be aware of the existence of our guardian. Let's bring this knowledge to our children. Let them see it through the eyes of parents who respect, revere, and love each other. And maybe, God willing, we will be worthy of seeing true peace in the Middle East and for all mankind. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a wonderful